and welcome to News Hour. I am Kojo Kwafor. Coming up in this afternoon's edition of News Hour, the African Peer Review Mechanism reconstitutes its board. Ministry of Education, Science and Technology trains mathematics and science teachers. And concern for vulnerable children and women calls on girls to stay in school after their basic education certificate exams. All the stories and more, including your business and sports news, are lined up in this afternoon's edition of News Hour. The Minister of Political and Public Affairs, Nanette Thomas, has presented members of the newly reconstituted African Peer Review Mechanism National Governing Council to President Ernest Bai Koroma at State House. Razia Bashkamara filed in this report.
National Governing Council, the Minister of Political and Public Affairs, Madam Nanette Thomas, said the APRM is a good governance monitoring instrument of the African Union that seeks, among other things, to bring together an effective collaboration among the three major actors in the search for good governance in Africa, including government, civil society, and the private sector. She maintained that accordingly, the APRM continental and national structures put emphasis on collective body of members of government, the private sector, and civil society in an African peer review mechanism governing council.
For presenting these members, I want to humbly remind you, sir, of the rescheduled special APRM summit for Nairobi, Kenya, 26 August, on the revitalization of the APRM, of which you are a very critical person in the deliberations, especially that our sister West African country, Senegal, will also be peer reviewed. It is important that you attend this meeting as your colleagues, heads of state, expecting your input in adherence to the APRM principles.
The Executive Chairman, APRM National Governing Council, and the Chief Executive Officer, Professor Usman Bula, registered their profound thanks and appreciation of his good governance strides in Sierra Leone. He pointed out that he has served the APRM successfully in a number of good governance-oriented projects in the country, including the Open Governance Initiative and Extractives Industry Transparency Initiative, among others. Professor Bula maintained that those programs are all geared towards ensuring sustainable peace and security in Sierra Leone. He made it clear to President Koroma that he has also been very critical and instrumental in ensuring the successful and implementation of the APRM in Sierra Leone by his dedicated and unwavering political commitment to the process.
Sir, as a newly established body, we've just identified and put up a strategic plan with key deliverables, one of which is the preparation for your presentation of the third and fourth progress report scheduled for the APRM Forum in 2017, January. And secondly, the effective and successful popularization of the APRM in this country. You know, that is why, in fact, the revitalization of the Continental Secretariat is of the view that we need to step up the steam of popularizing the APRM, because they realize the steam is dying down.
In his contribution, the Deputy Minister of Political and Public Affairs, Ahmed Femi Mansoure, said this is another opportunity that further makes His Excellency the President a unique leader. The Deputy Minister commended President Koroma for keeping the records in Sierra Leone and informed him that it took them 90 days to get the team of the members that are being presented to him. Welcoming members of the newly reconstituted African Peer Review Mechanism APRM National Governing Council, President Koroma congratulated them on the appointment to man the affairs of the APRM. The president pointed out that as a nation, they have succeeded in their activities and that they have submitted the country's first and second reports, which was well reviewed by their peers. He maintained that the comments during and after the submission were very laudable, and as a government, they decided to take a review at a time when other countries would not dare expose themselves to such a mechanism. President Koroma noted with pride that as a government, they did the exposure because they were confident that the government was open, transparent, and that they have worked very well even though it was close to the elections. He observed that now, as a government and country, they are getting ready for the third and fourth report that they should submit in January 2017. Therefore, as a body, they now have the responsibility to ensure that they sustain the momentum. President Koroma expressed with delight that they have a plan of action to popularize the report for the first and second submissions and expressed his fervent hope that they will embark on it as soon as they are through with the next meeting of the APRM.
I'm happy that you have a plan of action to A, popularize the reports of the first and second submissions, and I hope that you will embark on it as soon as you are through with the next meeting of the APRM, and I think it should be early enough so that the populace will be fully geared and fully knowledgeable about the issues of the APRM even before we make our third and fourth submissions in January. I want to assure you that I will continue to give support to the activities of the Governing Council. We will ensure that our participations at the meetings, the international meetings, go on very well, and I'm sure we have fulfilled our obligations, and now we have a rightful place.
The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, with support from the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA, has trained mathematics and science teachers. The training took place at the Northern Polytechnic. Lucian Ganda reports.
Receiving certificates are mathematics and science lecturers from different teacher training colleges in the country and schools within the Bombale districts to better equip them on the dynamics of the sciences and mathematics. In his keynote address, the Chief Education Officer, Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Alhaji Mohamed Kamara, underscored the need for quality education, especially in the areas of science and mathematics, as relevant into this development.
I want to tell you that the worst day for the starting of 2016, the worst day for me is today, particularly for this presentation. It's really very disgraceful. So it shows that some of you cannot absolutely be here. You cannot be repaired. We tried our best actually repair you. And after we repair you, we are looking forward to continuous in-service programs so that we will maintain you to appreciable standard. But you cannot be maintained. Because you can only maintain something when it is an appreciable standard that you can go for. But right now, this, apart from just a few that I believe they will be, which when they continue like that, they will help us to make sure that we get good results.
The head of the Japanese International Cooperation Agency in Sierra Leone, JICA, Mustukuni Sujimoto, applauded the government and people of Sierra Leone for the privilege given to its organization to share knowledge and skills in the areas of science and mathematics, which could help in nation building.
The performance of the school teachers reflects the performance of the school children. After finishing this training program, I hope you will do continue self-learning to improve your lesson in the class. And I hope the technology and knowledge and science, technology, and knowledge will be applied to your country's development.
However, such a training is expected to be replicated in other regions as well.
The Deputy Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, Gugiatu Nene Tue, has referred to child marriage as a human rights violation that is affecting developing countries. She made a statement at a press conference on the African Union campaign to end child marriage, organized by Women in the Media Sierra Leone in collaboration with Plan Sierra Leone and UNICEF. Umubaka reports.
Child marriage and teenage pregnancy have been serious concerns, not only in Sierra Leone, but also in other African countries. Giving an overview of the program, the president of Women in the Media Sierra Leone, Tiana Alpha, said the African Union End Child Marriage campaign is being implemented by the Office of the First Lady in collaboration with the Ministry of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, and Women in the Media Sierra Leone, with support from Plan, UNICEF Sierra Leone, and other partners. Madam Alpha said despite strides made by the government and other partners, child marriage continues to deny girls the opportunity to quality education.
Child marriage continues to deny our young girls, the future leaders of our nation, their rights to quality education, proper growth, development, and to live in dignity. As an organization, we think that the media plays an integral part in providing public information and engaging communities in ending child marriage in Sierra Leone. Even though WIMSAL is leading this media engagement, I would also like to disclose that Yakan is also part of the media campaign team.
The president of WIMSAL said the end of child marriage campaign is an ongoing process and the media's role is essential in providing public information and engaging communities in ending child marriage. Our representative from the Office of the First Lady, Sheku Nuni, said the most deprived and marginalized girls are at risk of child marriage. He stated that teenage pregnancy has been a major consequence of child marriage and contributes to about 40% of maternal deaths in Sierra Leone. Deputy Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, Rugiatu Nene Tue, said child marriage is a human rights violation.
Today, we have a unique opportunity to act on this momentum and accelerate our efforts as a country to help to change the lives of girls and young women all over Sierra Leone. Child marriage is a human rights issue, and we should take strong stand on banning it as a country. In developing countries, 1 in every 3 girls is married before age 18. Girls pressed into child marriage often become pregnant while still adolescents, increasing the risk of complication in pregnancy or childbirth.
Madam Toure says the ministry is aware that ending child marriage requires work across all sectors and understands the complex drivers behind the practice in different contexts. Even though the Child Rights Act and other documents says that children under the age of 18 cannot be given to marriage, yet the Customary Marriage Act says parents and other community stakeholders shall give consent for a girl at 16 to get or be given out for marriage.
The Ministry of Energy has ended a visitation to solar equipment dealers in Freetown with the aim to sensitize them on government's energy revolution and to advise them to join the association. The Renewable Energy Association is geared towards educating solar panel dealers on its operations and why they should import more solar panels. Daphne Kemama-Macaulay filed in this report.
The outreach activity is to sensitize solar panel dealers on the significance of the Energy Revolution project launched 3 months ago. The Energy Revolution project is an additional effort by government through the Ministry of Energy to provide electricity in the country through the use of solar energy in homes. In line with this, the government has set the pace with 50,000 solar units that will be distributed countrywide.
Mr. President, I want to make this country get lights outside. And this off-grid, this solar, I want solution way to make people even at the deep village them, then we get lights. But when I know say, Mr. President, he don't always say private sector for good government. Now private sector now get for boost the economy. So now make we government can meet the private sector today. For them we join, we get one word, we will make sure so we achieve the vision that Mr. President gets. So they don't tell you about the standard for you self your own good and for your good name, your reputation. Import products that will get good standard, we go last long for the customer themselves, they go benefit, you self no go get headache. You register with the ministry, all the facilities the government will provide in terms of the duty, waiver, in terms of the green lane, any facility and support the government provide, you self go there inside way for benefits. Yeah.
The Renewable Energy Association in Sierra Leone has been formed to unify solar panel dealers in Sierra Leone. The association is headed by Madam Sophie Johnson.
And the government, we don't agree with standard period customs that there will be a green lane. So on the Asipusa system, they will put 0 rating, which we will all benefit from. But in order to go down that road, they're encouraging everybody to join the association. So if you're part of the association, you go automatically, when you go sky in, you will see 0.
She said members would be trained on how to operate solar equipment.
The Law Department, Furabe College, has held a debating competition on the topic, should the abortion bill be passed into law in Sierra Leone? The debate was organized to know how the Law Department views the controversial abortion bill. Francis Danema filed in this report.
Since the abortion bill was tabled before Parliament, there has been lots of debate as to whether the bill be passed into law or not. Religious groups argued that the law should not be passed because Sierra Leone is a godly nation and it is against Christianity and Islam. Whilst organizations supporting the bill say safe abortion will prevent women dying due to unsafe abortion. The Law Department of FBC organized this debate to ensure first-year students speak for or against the bill. The debaters, who were in favor of the bill, argued that the Safe Abortion Bill is in fulfillment of several UN conventions that Sierra Leone is a signatory to, and it will help women to give birth by choice, prevent untimely death, among others. Those that argued against the bill described the title as deceptive, as according to them, no abortion is safe. They said the country's health system is not strong to accommodate abortion and that the bill is secretly sponsored by the Western world to reduce the population of Africa. At the end of the debate, Wisdom Kante and Mary Fofana, who were against the bill, took first and second positions, whilst Fatimata Kamara, who debated for the motion, took the third position. Lecturer Law Department Furabe College Rashid Dumbuya thanks the students for taking part in the debate. Magistrate Dr. Abubakar Binay Kamara and Magistrate George Samai were awarded for their outstanding contributions to the department.
President of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, Dr. Kanayo Nwanze, as part of his 2-day visit to Sierra Leone, has briefed the media about IFAD's activities in the country. In a press conference held at the Radisson Blue Hotel, Aberdeen, the IFAD president disclosed that his organization will give Sierra Leone $20 million. Asmiuba reports.
Since Sierra Leone became a member of IFAD more than 2 decades ago, this is the first time an IFAD president is visiting Sierra Leone. The Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Professor Monty Jones, and Dr. Kanayo Nwanze had worked in the same institution and had built a strong relationship. IFAD is the UN specialized agency that promotes both agriculture and financial activities. The host, Sierra Leone's Minister of Agriculture, Professor Monty Jones, said the visit of the IFAD's president is a testament that the country is on the right track. The Agriculture Minister explained to his guest that agriculture is part of the presidential recovery priorities and that his ministry is implementing strategies to revolutionize agriculture in Sierra Leone. Professor Jones called on Sierra Leoneans to eat local grown food as a way of reducing the importation of goods that can be planted here.
As of the press, IFAD is they are supporting projects to do with agricultural development, with rural development, and since Dr. Kanayo Mwanzi took up the office, we've seen increased funding to Sierra Leone, and the meeting that we had today was very remarkable. First of all, the President pledged continued support to Sierra Leone to promote our agricultural efforts. We want us to be in a position where we're going to reduce drastically the importation of commodities that we can produce.
The IFAD president, Dr. Nwanzi, disclosed that in the next 2 years, IFAD will spend $20 million in Sierra Leone. Dr. Nwanzi said IFAD invests in rural people to help them move out of poverty and hunger. The IFAD president informed journalists that Africa receives 50% of IFAD's funds, as 70% of the poor people live in rural areas. He called on Africans to eat local foodstuffs, as $35 billion is spent in sub-Saharan Africa on importation alone. Money, he said, could be used to improve agriculture.
We have evidence that our contribution to agriculture and rural development in Sierra Leone has resulted in improving incomes, food and nutrition security in rural areas, particularly in providing smallholder farmers or small producers with access to inputs, irrigation facilities, technical skills, as the Honorable Minister said, access to markets, with local and regional markets, and of course, rural financial services. As I said, these are always in line with government priorities. Now, you will agree with me, ladies and gentlemen, that most of the food we consume domestically is produced by smallholders in rural areas. But the paradox, the irony is that they are also the poorest, essentially because they are also major buyers of food. Most of our farmers are still subsistent in their production with very little commercialization. And this has to change, just as the Minister said.
As he ends his visit to Sierra Leone, the IFAD boss wonders why a country like ours, in his own words, has everything but yet still imports nearly all its foodstuffs. He was upbeat. According to him, with sound policies and programs, Sierra Leone should not only feed itself, but should create employment for young people. The host was happy to be told that IFAD will continue to support Sierra Leone.
The head of the Political Affairs Department in the United States Embassy in Freetown, Dr. Gregory F. Maggio, has called on the Ministry of Political and Public Affairs. This maiden engagement is about strengthening coordination between the embassy and the Ministry of Political and Public Affairs. Abubakar Bangura reports.
The Minister of Political and Public Affairs, Nanette Thomas, expressed delight for the visit. She explained the mandate of the ministry, especially in analyzing Sierra Leone's domestic political affairs and foreign relations, and furthering the nation's foreign policy to promote peace, security, and prosperity in Sierra Leone. The minister requested for a better working relationship with the political department of the U.S. Embassy and the U.S. government in a bid to inculcate the foreign and domestic policies of the USA, her human rights situation, and other relevant political and social developments. The political chief of the United States Embassy in Sierra Leone, Dr. Gregory F. Maggio, intimated the minister and her team about the roles and responsibilities of the political department of the embassy, especially in coordinating with other diplomatic missions, civil society and multilateral institutions to fund an array of programming activities. These include supporting Sierra Leone's effort to further democracy, security, human rights, good governance, and respect for the rule of law. He said the Political Affairs Department in the U.S. Embassy partners with a United Nations Development Program initiative to ensure bail and sentencing procedures in Sierra Leone are fair, more consistent and predictable, equitable, and in line with severity of crimes committed. Dr. Gregory F. McGill spoke about the Political Affairs Department of the Embassy supports to the groundbreaking work of the NGO Dignity Association to strengthening the Human Rights Commission of Sierra Leone, Partners for Democratic Change and Campaign for Good Governance to foster greater government accountability.
One Family People, in collaboration with Kids Advocacy Network and other partners, have launched a campaign called Her Choice at the Atlantic Hall Stadium Hostel. The campaign aims at creating an environment for girls to choose who and when to marry. Resident Minister East, Karamokaba, and other eminent personalities were awarded as ambassadors of Her Choice campaign during the occasion. Let's join Francis Tanema again.
Sierra Leone is among low-income earning countries where some girls, mostly in rural areas, are given into marriage against their wish. This is because some of the parents are influenced by money. The Her Choice campaign is now raising awareness on the need to allow girls to get education and freely choose who they want to marry after growing into adulthood. The National Program Manager, One Family People, Hadiatou Diallo, said the campaign will be carried out in the Western area and Moyamba districts.
We work with young people and we put them in the forefront because this harmful traditional practice of child marriage affect them in so many ways, and it also affects their communities, it affects the country as a whole. So in order for us to achieve this dream is by having the involvement of all stakeholders.
She noted that girls with disabilities will be given special attention during the implementation of the project. Madam Diallo stated what the campaign aimed at achieving.
One of the things that we were looking for during this launching was also solutions. We were looking for solutions how to end child marriage. We have our own theory of change, but we also wanted to see what other solutions that people will bring on the table and how we can take it forward. And there was a strong commitment from all the government stakeholders.
The resident minister East, Karamokaba, appreciated the Her Choice Ambassador Award given to him and promised to do all in his power to end child marriage in the country.
However, I want to tell you that I've been doing it before. I've stood a great position for the girl child, for women and children. And it is based upon my activities in that area that I have been chosen now with the mandate bestowed upon me to help in promoting, promulgating, and channeling, facilitating the hopes and aspirations of this sector of our society, because they are very important. So in due course, I know now that it has become a responsibility not to do it by choice anymore or by wish. Now it is going to be by responsibility. So the responsibility will be greater, But I have not taken anything in life that I have not pulled off, and this one is not going to be an exception.
Other awardees also promised to end child marriage in this country. The Minister of Social Welfare, Gender and Children's Affairs, Dr. Sylvia Blyden, described the campaign as timely. She called on all partners to prosecute anyone that gives his or her child into early marriage, pointing out that her ministry will give its fullest support to the campaign.
Well, it's now time for the business segment of NewsHour.
Hello and welcome to the business update with me, Awanatu Conte. We begin with the foreign exchange rates. The US dollar buys at 6,091 leons and sells at 6,214 leons. The British pound sterling buys at 7,904 leons and sells at 8,064 leons. And the euro buys at 6,751 leons and sells at 6,884 leons. Courtesy of the Central Bank. As part of this year's International Youth Day, the National Youth Commission, in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth Affairs, has trained women in the informal sector on business skills for an improved business growth. The training targeted women in their 30s to become entrepreneurs and business leaders. Doreen Kaloko was there.
The sector is made up of young people. The training is to encourage them become skillful and better understand the techniques on how to become successful business people. The National Youth Commission, together with the Youth Ministry, is taking the lead to promote the advancement and participation of women in becoming entrepreneurs. The Deputy Youth Commissioner, National Youth Commission, Aminata Sila, said the program on young women's empowerment and the advancement program have three components, which targeted young girls in secondary schools, the informal sector, and women in conflict with the law. She said that the project is designed to empower young girls with relevant skills and opportunities that can make them become productive citizens and contribute to the development of the country. She spoke about the immense contribution played by market women over the years, adding that it is important that they take their trading seriously and adopt new skills to help improve on their trade. The Secretary General Market Women Association, Mrs. Maribob Kande, said that they formed the association in 1996 to champion issues affecting them and seek their welfare for economic growth. She said that as market women, they are vital towards the country's economic growth, adding that they should be supported. She outlined the principles of becoming successful business women, which is to respect the law, pay tax, and go through custom. She warned them not to put politics ahead of their business. The Commissioner, National Youth Commission, Anthony Kuruma, told women that plans are underway to solicit funding that will help improve their businesses through a massive training exercise. He said that for their business to develop, they should persevere, be committed, and determined.
They try to sensitize, this is sensitization. They will reach a stage where, apart from the skills, who said we didn't see how we will raise funds, how we will raise money and facility for able to support the one who will not train, so that what they not learn and we will put that into practice. That is our real target, and we work with Madam Marie Portale and other agencies, including women, who we invite for but because of other programs, the leader went to Canada.
Thanks to Dorin Kaloko for that report. Ministries, departments and agencies, including councils and tertiary institutions, have been assessed and graded due to their performance delivery in 2015. The Bode State Council, the Ministry of Defense and the Eastern Polytechnic were among other institutions that were rated good. According to reports, the 2015 performance contract covered 22 ministries, local councils, tertiary institutions, and 44 state-owned enterprises. National Revenue Authority emerges as one of the best institutions. Mohamed Bangura is the Corporate Affairs Manager, National Revenue Authority. He explained more to Judith Sana.
They actually rated the National Revenue Authority as best among the departments of government for the year 2015. And that was because in terms of key areas which they used to assess us, productivity in terms of our core mandate, service delivery, we have to be efficient and effective. They saw that the National Revenue Authority was able to emerge as a victor among all the departments among which we were rated. The IFE, the Corporate Affairs Commission, the Sierra Leone Broadcasting Corporation, etc., etc., we had to come first. First, because when we look at our mandate, revenue generation, they saw that the target which was set for us by the International Monetary Fund, Ministry of Finance, the Bank of Sierra Leone, the NRA was not only able to meet it, but we exceeded it by over 100 billion euros. That was in terms of productivity. Now we looked at service delivery, efficiency and effectiveness. They saw that we continue to automate our processes. Now at customs, if you want to do business with us, you can start your business 48 hours to clear your container even without coming to us at the NRA. That is, we are making business becoming easier. And for business people, you know that time is money. And not only that, we've actually put across service charter, display them across the country. That you want to know anything about the NRA, our processes, what we do, all what you need to do is to actually look at one of our service charter, whether in Bo, in Kenema, in Cambria, in Makeni, in Kono, we have this service delivery charter. Plus the fact that our website is up and running. And we as an institution, we always organize workshops, stakeholders engagement, and we come to the public to discuss with our stakeholders what we do, how we do them, and how they in turn could actually work with us. So with all of these things in place, the NRA was rated as the best. Plus the fact that our own taxpayers see us that we go the extra mile to make sure that they understand the laws and they continue to be part of the NRA without any problems at all.
Was the rating came as a surprise to you?
It was never a surprise. For us, that was a forlorn conclusion. When it even came out, we did not even celebrate much because we knew that from all what we were doing, coupled with the fact that our taxpayers have been so comfortable in terms of understanding our processes, we know that they should have named us the best for a long time ago. But however, we're happy that at least His Excellency the President recognized the fact that the NRA is a performing institution and the general public will continue to get confidence on what we do as an institution, particularly because our leadership is one that is supportive towards national development.
So now let's talk about what will be the next plan of action of the National Revenue Authority. Now you rated the best. What are we expecting from the National Revenue Authority?
For us, the best is the list for us, and we cannot fall below the belt. That is to say, now that we've been rated the best, after about 3 or 4 years, we want to continue to cling on to that position of being the best, because we know that we are the best because of what we do, and we will continue to do the best because of our critical role in national development. We are aware that if government continues to perform its basic day-to-day function, it is because of the resources which we provide for them. And going forward, already we are on track, because when you look at our first and second quarter revenue collection, we have exceeded those targets, and now we are on the third quarter, and very soon we shall come to the fourth quarter. And at the end of the year, we hoping that we will continue to exceed our revenue target on a yearly basis.
Now, before 2015, in 2014, how was your rating?
In 2014, our rating was second position, because this was when we had the Environmental Protection Agency emerging as the victor. However, since we knew that there were basic things which we were not doing, which they were doing, this was why we had to step up our game. And because we stepped up that game, we are now the best.
He is the Corporate Affairs Manager of the National Revenue Authority, Mohamed Bangura. Well, that's it for the business segment of Nizar. Hamawana Tukonte, continue to stay with us.
Yes, many thanks to Hawana Tukonte for bringing us the business news. Now, concern for vulnerable children and women has ended a one-day awareness-raising campaign on the need for girls to focus on their education after Beke, on the theme, after Beke, no to bele, now for continue with education. The forum was held at the Atlantic Hall in Shaka Stevens Stadium. The campaign came immediately after the pupils completed their Beke. Francis Danema filed in this report read in the studios by David Patrick Kamar.
After Beke, this is because some of the girls thought they have grown enough and at least completed their junior level of education, hence they see themselves as full-grown women. After Beke, many have dropped out of school as a result of pregnancy. Mohamed Sandi thanked the organizers for engaging the pupils after their exams. He said the forum will help to educate youths on the dangers of teenage pregnancy. Executive Director Concern for Vulnerable Children and Women, Pastor Sita Fode Musa Conte, called on the pupils to revise their notes and read their SSS1 notes instead of engaging in sexual activities. She called on the girls to avoid any group that will influence them into sexual relationships.
Learning and reading are the roots of education. Following regulations and obeying authorities are another. Education is the best gift of life, but to get it is not an easy task. When you get it, it lives with you forever and will take you anywhere. Therefore, the roots of education are sour, but its fruits are sweet.
Deputy Minister of Sport Ishmael Al-Sanko Conte reaffirmed his commitment to promote girls' education and called on both boys and girls to take heed to what they have learned.
Pupils whom have already sat to their exams, and hopefully we have the notion and perception in Sierra Leone, which is very, very common. It's a commonality that after Bele,
All the speakers inspired the participants to abstain from early sex and focus on their education.
And now, to end news are a quick look at the main points again. The African Peer Review Mechanism has reconstituted its board. The Ministry of Education, Science and Technology has trained mathematics and science teachers. And concern for vulnerable children and women has called on girls to stay in school after their basic education certificate examinations vacate. Well, that's all we can bring you news hour this noontime. On behalf of the news editor Asmi Uba, the producer Judith Sana, I am Kojo Kwafor. For more information about our programs, do send us an email to contact us at slbc.sl. Thanks for watching. Good afternoon.